Hey guys, it's your brother Naseem Khan here. Hope you're well and welcome to my show In the Limelight. Hope you guys are well. Hope you guys are getting ready for the weekend. Well, this evening's guest, we've got a very, very famous person again who I want to say to you guys that every week I'm going to have somebody with me, an individual with me who's got a beautiful progression from past to the present. Last week we had Azar Jafri, who's a film producer and director and singer. But before I go into this famous person, let's see his video that before we go into it. No. There you have it, guys. So obviously you've probably got a clue now who this individual is, but before I bring him onto the phone, I'm just going to give you a little background on him, and then we'll ask him a few questions, and then he will give you a background as well. So basically Sahara were formed by Harvinderpal, that's his family name, better known as Herbie Sahara, from 1993, and they released a debut album in Temptation, then followed with the Johnny Zee's produced Let Loose in 1994. In 2001, their album Access All Areas hit the scene. That's where Sahara began to grow overnight, and obviously then you know the songs what came after that. But before I highlight you with all that, I just want to welcome my brother Herbie Sahara. How are you, bro?
Hey Nas, how are you, my bro? You okay?
I'm good, man. I'm good. It's been a long time, man. It's been a long time. How are you?
Yeah. I just want to say a big hi to all your listeners and viewers and everybody tuned in today. Yeah, it has been a long time. It has been. You've been in the game for a little. Always chopping and changing.
Yeah, that's it, man. Obviously, we've done a few good events together, and obviously, I've seen you grow myself. And basically, what it is good to talk to brothers who we've kept in contact with, and we've kept in contact for a very long time, haven't we, Herbie?
Yeah. Of course. I mean, back in the days, we used to do events together, and we used to meet up at events and stuff like that. So it's nice talking to you, my friend.
So after, obviously, you were young when you first started, and I've just briefed everybody on there when you first started from 1993. How was it all for you, Herbie? Obviously, you were in the game, you were into music yourself, and you wanted to progress. So was that the case?
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously, my parents are they're the first people over here. You know, they were immigrants over to England. They come from India.
Yeah.
And so I was born and bred over here in England.
Yeah.
So it's a first generation kind of thing, me and my brothers. And so in our house, it's always been the cultural's always been very kind of Punjabified. We've always listened to songs, and we've always watched films. And, because my parents the main language wasn't English, there was like Punjabi, Hindi, So in our house, we've kind of been born and raised, into a family that's very cultural.
Yeah.
So, I mean, from an early age, just watching the films or listening to the songs, I picked up on the songs at the age of 3 or 4. I was at family parties and stuff like that, kind of the bete, come here, sing a song. Sing uncle a song, come on. And so, it was one of them. And from there it just progressed. From there, me, Cully and Gerbs, my brother, the three of us then joined a local Bhangra group in Bradford called Nachda Punjab.
Tiga. I remember that,
Nachda Punjab, so we were like Bhangra dancers, I was probably about 7, 8 year old, Cully was 7 year old, Gerbs was about 4 or 5. And so we were like a junior Bhangra team. and as well as that, obviously used to sing on stage at family parties and stuff. And so just generally, one day we were practicing, and there were a band in Bradford called Shana at the time, and they were rehearsing. And my dad says, "Come," and we went down to the rehearsal room, and they were practicing. And my dad says to him, "Look, my lad likes to sing. Give him a chance." And you got to bear in mind, I was about 10-year-old, 10-year-old. And so they heard me sing, and Punjabi song, they heard me sing, I think, one of my last songs. And they were blown, they were mesmerized. They were saying, "Wow, 10-year-old boy singing Punjabi song. Kaching, kaching." This
Absolutely. That's it, yeah. Rolle page.
Yeah. This is good. Our bookings are going to increase. No, but on a serious level, these guys, then what they did, they actually mentioned me and told me a lot more then. And from there, just the whole journey kicked off. I was then, at the age of 11, I did my first ever stage show on stage, singing songs. And I then progressed from keyboards with local overbands and playing keyboards until I was 15, then when I made my own band called Parchi.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
So when we picked Parchi, we made, I was the lead vocalist of that band. Yeah. And then we recorded an album, and I was about 15 when I recorded the vocals for that. Yeah. And the album we then took to Roma Records.
Right.
And Roma Records, God rest his soul, the late Azar Jafri, at the time they had Safri Boys and a lot of other artists.
Yeah, I remember,
on their books as well. So they were kind of the key players. And what you remember, we were a northern band.
Yeah.
And there was absolutely zero support from the north, right? So there was hardly any musicians or recording studios who catered for like a certain Bhangra kind of, like genre.
Yeah.
And so we recorded the album and took it to we took it to Harvinderpal, and he says to his okay that I love the album, hate the name. So that's okay. So from today you call Sahara. And we said okay, but the album is fantastic. And that's where it started. That's where he released the album. And when the album came, it was a debut album for us. I was 16, and it basically put us on the Bhangra national map.
Absolutely. And then I remember once that was released, obviously we were all young at the time, and remember back in them days there was nothing digital, it was all analog mainly for recordings and
analog recording, yeah. We recorded in the famous Pete Studios, Pete Ware.
Yeah.
And at that time, what it was we'd go to the studios, and Safri had just finished his. Before him was a Janik, and before him was Anarchy, and all the other bands. So they were all recording at that time at Pete Ware's. So that's where we were recording as well. And we recorded that album, In Temptation, there. So yeah, it was a great experience recording with Pete. Taught us a lot, an amazing guy. And we still, to this day, work with him as well.
That's very good, because you should never forget your roots. That's what I've learned anyway. And obviously we've been humble.
For sure, 100%.
You've been humble yourself and all your life. And what I'm going to say is, how did you cross paths when you went to access all areas? Because that was basically the step up for you, wasn't it, after that?
Well, what happened was, obviously In Temptation, like I said, put us on the national map.
Yeah.
So UK, we were doing, we were become like, Sahara. We made a little name for ourselves.
Yeah.
Everybody had
heard
of our
every
song.
poster, I remember.
Then in '94, we released an album called Let Loose, which was produced by the very famous then Johnny Zee.
Yeah.
And he'd done all the music, and I recorded the vocals, and that album was a good album.
Yeah.
But again, it was good in terms of that. Nationally, it was fantastic. Then we did, '97, we recorded The Blueprint, and we'd had moved to Natural Records then.
Yeah.
And we released that. That was a good album. Again, after that, we did a track called Tappe. Tappe seemed to have gone down really well. First of all, they came out in a compilation called Mavericks.
Yeah.
And but the Tappe itself went down really well for us. A lot of people love that track, and we still till this day we do perform it live. And after us, like 5-6 years down the road, a few other bands actually well, I won't say copied.
I was just going to say jumped on the
tune,
bandwagon.
I
was just going to say jumped on the bandwagon.
yeah. Took the same tune and released their own versions. But yeah, so for me, Tappe was a track that kind of really progressed it up for us. From then, the garage scene had hit the UK.
Yeah. That's when I was on the scene. That's when we're talking about 99, was it, or something?
It was I think 1999, 2000.
Yeah, that's it.
And because we were obviously popular on the UK circuit, so we were doing the gigs week in, week out. And there were a guy, obviously the RDB, the band, they were on the circuit DJing.
Yeah.
And I become very friendly with Manj. And then what happened was, he heard the track Tappe, and then what we did, we remixed that track in a professional studio. He remixed it and he put garage beats on it.
Yeah, I remember.
And and then it came out in a single called Purely Natural 7. Did really well for us. And after that, I said to Manj, why don't you produce me a track? Make it a garage. Here's the song. It's called Soniye Ni Soniye.
Yeah.
And why don't you produce it? And he did it. And at that time he said, yeah, I'd love to. Bear in mind that RDB had not released an album now. They were just like on circuit, they were quite big.
Yeah.
They hadn't released an album. So Man started working on Soniye Ni Soniye, and believe it or not, I actually taught him the chords, which chords for that song.
Fantastic.
These are the chord patterns. These are the chords that go with it.
Yeah.
And even till this day, he still laughs sometimes. He goes, "Why do you remember when you taught me the chords to that song?"
Yeah, but that's good. You see, that's what it's about, because the connection, you still got the connection. There's no, like illness or badness where people can't even have a banter or like a little bit of creative criticism, because you know where everybody rises from. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, even till this day, that he always remembers. We have a bit of a banter about it, and so we released Access All Areas, and Soniye Ni Soniye was the first track in that, and it just kind of blew up in the England.
Absolutely blew up.
As long as as well as in England, what it started doing was trickling through to different countries.
Yeah.
And it went through to places like Kenya and Malaysia and Singapore, Pakistan being a key country, India and Dubai, and through whichever way, I think it was through piracy or which these songs started playing in Pakistan and stuff like that. So now what happened was Soniye Ni Soniye had become a massive track in Pakistan.
See, that was a good thing, and that was the steps where you came from. But there's one unique thing what I want to mention about you, Herbie, is what I've always said. Before we get onto the main track we're going to talk about and the rest of your future, I just want to say one thing, is that you have performed worldwide, especially in Pakistan as well, all over the place, and them two tracks have carried you, and you've carried them basically, and you've done it. You know what I mean? You went off one album, you went off one track. You weren't one of them to reach, chalo 3-4 album karne hain, we'll do it. But you know what? Kismet was on your side, prayers were on your side, and hard work was on your side, and I believe that's what kept it going, and that song has never died out.
Yeah, no, thank you for that. I mean, the thing with Soniye Ni Soniye, then we started getting events internationally. I mean, remember when we went to Kenya? I mean, after Soniye Ni Soniye, we started getting a phone call from promoters in Kenya that, we want you guys to come out to Kenya to perform.
Yeah.
And so we went, and there were big posters everywhere. Sahara performing here, Sahara performing here. And it was absolute crazy. Yeah. We went to the Asian area, with the popular Asian area. And it said, please do not ask for any Sahara Access All Areas album sold out. Every shop had boards like that. It was just like, with God's grace, it was just absolutely fantastic.
Super.
The feeling and,
absolutely.
The
buzz.
At the same time, we in England, the song was it was big anyway. It was being played on Soho Road and, Roundhay Road and Broadway, Southall. It was just, all the lads were, the garage scene. It was just
it was massive,
kicked off, and it was kind of.
Fantastic.
And so we would now, we're going to Pakistan with this. Actually, a few of us went. The first time we ever went to Pakistan, a few bands went. B21 went, ourselves, Gubi Sandhu.
I think at that time, I was with AP at that time, and I think it was Amjad that took you guys over at that time. and I was working on my
Yeah,
first. Yeah, yeah.
no,
yeah.
no, I think no, this was the first time. So this was like 2003. Akshay took us out another time. He took us out a few years after.
Oh, right.
And he took us out on the Raghav concert, I think it was.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, he took us out on the Raghav concert. But this concert, anyway, so we played at the not Jinnah Stadium. It's another in Lahore. There's a Gaddafi Stadium, and there's a little complex thingy, and we played to an open air crowd. And when I performed there on Soniye Ni Soniye, the crowd went absolutely wild.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the journey took off for us internationally, you know. So, and then we were just getting requests to come out to do gigs in Pakistan more and more and more.
Absolutely. I remember we met at the airport once when I was there.
Yeah. I seen you at the airport once, of course. Yeah, Islamabad, man.
Yeah, Islamabad, yeah. Right, Herbie, stay on the line. Right, guys, we're going to have Herbie on the line. He's not going anywhere. We're just going to take a quick break and then we'll be straight back. No, utla. Right, guys, welcome back from our show break. I just want to say one thing to my viewers out there, that remember, we are a streaming and a vlogging channel, so if you hear a few noises or if you hear the odd word on the mic, remember, it's my guys in the back sometime, or sometime you might hear a little noise. So yeah, that's what it's all about. Now I'm going to go back to my bro Herbie. Welcome back, Herbie.
Hey, Nas, you okay?
Yeah. Now we're going to touch upon Lal Ghagra, the one that was a worldwide international smash. How did that come about?
So Lal Ghagra, well, obviously we'd released Access All Areas, which was a big success. We absolutely smashed it in England with that. We got platinum discs for it, and so it done really well. So I had a bit of pressure on to come out with another big track, big album or big song.
What do they say in Punjabi? Tawa garam si hai.
Tawa garam si, yeah. But it's Naz. I mean, I never. In terms of we didn't just release anything for the sake of it. I always worked on stuff,
This is what I'm saying. That you worked on your material, and you wasn't one of them that you get album banasan again. No, you've stuck with them tracks, and them tracks have done you justice, and vice versa.
That's right. That's exactly what it was. So we worked on an album called Undisputed.
Yeah.
Now Undisputed had 12 songs in, and one of the songs was the first track was Lal Ghagra, which was sung, composed, arranged by myself and wrote, and it was produced by Cully. He was he's passed away now. From the RDB, and he was then working for Untouchable Records, and he was our in-house producer for Untouchable Records, and he was then working on the album. And when Lal Ghagra came out, we had in that album there were about a good 6 or 7 other strong songs, Neela, Banana, Natural, and Sahara, but the track that done it was Lal Ghagra. And that was in 2004.
Look at that. And until today, it's still being smashed.
In 2004, so it came out in 2004. But the thing with Lal Ghagra it was like when it came out, it was a great track. Everybody loved it. The radio stations were jumping on it, playing it, blah blah blah. But internationally, it was just growing and growing and growing. So places like Pakistan and Kenya and Malaysia and all, the track was being every year it was just kind of growing, and we were getting constantly our events and our shows, and we were more and more busier.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was.
But with all
like,
this, with all this busyness and fame, yeah, did you not get a lot of people who started hating, and a lot of people who didn't want to know you, wanted to know you at that time?
Did I get any haters?
Yeah. Did you at that time when you were rising? Did you not see any haters, or the people who didn't want to talk to you wanted to talk to you?
You know what it is. I mean, I've been a very private person in my, like in terms of music.
Yeah.
I have my music life is very separate. My friends and all separate, and my private life is very separate.
Yeah.
So, I don't mix a lot in the music industry as it is anyway. So with other artists and stuff like that, I don't, I'm not right kind of.
Yeah.
So, there probably was haters, and but I just keep my head down and we do our thing, and that's it. Whether people hate it or like it, because if you take, I mean, criticism is good in terms of constructive criticism.
Yeah, creative.
But then, and you can usually tell that, okay, bilkul lene, sor galat laiye, ya kuch kita hai, bilkul si. But then people turn around saying, oh, it's a rubbish track, kiya gana ve Lal Ghagra. But then, you bite into them, you just say, theek hai, vekhi jayegi jo hoega.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let's see. And so, I think the power of, what it is, it has a testing time itself.
Absolutely.
Whatever it is.
The testing time, and going on to the test time, we're going to go to the big one now. The big one was, after all them years, Lal Ghagra came in the movie Good News. Akshay Kumar was miming to that track, yeah? How did that come about, bro?
So, I mean, obviously then, just reverting back a little, just coming back a little bit of time, obviously Lal Ghagra was, we released it and it was getting bigger and bigger. And you know what, Nas, a little bit of a fact for you. After Lal Ghagra, we released 2004. We didn't release another single, a Sahara single, for 10 years.
Look at that.
11 years. Because the thing is, with God's grace, we didn't need to.
Yeah, that's
Lal Ghagra was just.
That's my point. That was my point earlier when I mentioned that I was carrying you and you were carrying that. You never had, you know what I mean? Then after that, you came with the Billo Hai. You know what I mean? And
then, then we released, in 2015, we released Bill. But I always had a bit of how can I put this? A bit of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Absolutely,
kind of attitude.
Yeah, and that's very good, and that's why Lal Ghagra is where it is, and you guys are where you are. Do you know what I mean? And I really, what's that word for it? Look up to that, and there's a lot of appreciation there because you had a nice product there, and you thought, forget everybody else. People might be saying, oh, you've only got one track, and look, that's all you're doing. Look what we're doing, but it's not about that. At the end of the day, the point is, there's many artists around who have. When I was in the scene, they were doing. Phenomenal gigs at the London, Manchester, Birmingham, XYZ. But you're the only band that I know who are local, and you were doing gigs abroad, international. You name a band to me who's constantly been going international. I can't name anybody who's been going, let's say, every other time in a month or every other time in 2 months to Pakistan, Kenya, or anywhere else.
Exactly. And I think what happened in the 10 years, we got a lot of experience playing and performing. You see, the thing is, it's not always about your recordings or songs. It's about performances, live performances.
Absolutely,
as well.
Absolutely.
And I think we kind of, we got grace. We kind of touched up on a little bit of a reputation that Sahara is a good performance band, entertainers.
That's it.
And so we were more, we were not one of these bands that were looking for followers with 1 million followers and no shows. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We were kind of more like the other way, no followers but shows more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Because at the end of the day, it's your Rosie as well, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? So you're doing it in a professional manner.
Yeah, me and Gertz had now, basically, we were doing this as a full-time thingy, so work now, because we just couldn't do any other work with this, because it was that busy.
I just want to say respect to your brother Gertz as well, you know what I mean, if he's listening, because at the end of the day, you're a team, and in this day and age, you don't see many brothers stick together.
Yeah, no, I mean, well, that's what I have to admit, that the brothers, Cully and Gertz, they're both been, with us, and we've always stuck together. I mean, they don't get no choices to what to say. That's probably why. But no, so I mean, in terms of, we then released Billo Hai.
Yeah.
And Billo Hai was another success. It was so big in Pakistan. It still is big Pakistan.
Yeah.
That a Pakistani film approached us. Can we use this song for a film?
Yeah.
And so we said, of course. We did all obviously our checks and who they were and which producers were, and they'd done a couple of films before called Janan and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So they were kind of the new kind of wave of producers and directors.
Yeah.
And so when we give them the song Billo Hai, in the whole of Pakistan, it really done well. It done absolutely phenomenal. In the film Parchi. And then for the same guys, we did some two more songs I sang in another film called Heed Manja.
Yeah.
So after that was Akshay Kumar always loved the track Lal Ghagra.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, he wanted to use it 2 or 3 years before.
Right.
For different films. I think it was Housefall 3 or Housefall 4 or something like that. But it just it didn't work out because of some issues or whatever what it was. But for good news, he wanted to use the track Lal Ghagra by any which way. He wanted to use it. And our thing was, hey, we've had this track for 10, 15 years now, right? It's 2019, so actually more 15, 16 years.
Absolutely.
I personally thought, right, listen, with this track, I've done as much as I can. It can't get any bigger than the track it is.
Yeah.
But I mean, what could happen now? Let them have a little spin on it and
see what they come
put
out
it in a Bollywood film.
Yeah,
it's
why not?
harmless because we've done as much as we could with it. But I mean, one of the key points was that the vocals will not change.
Absolutely.
It's my song, my track, my lyrics.
End of.
I'm going to be singing it.
Yeah.
I don't want you to go and get Mika Singh to sing my song.
No way.
Then, So, and they're actually, in all honesty, they wanted the original. They wanted to sound it more authentic and original as it was. So they wanted me to sing it anyway.
Yeah.
And and then it came into good news, and obviously it was doing tremendously well, and I mean, from there we've still got some. We've got 1 or 2 more projects in pipeline with Bollywood, and also with Pakistan. We're doing some. We're in the negotiations of doing a full score for a Pakistani movie.
So did you like obviously sit with Akshay yourself, have a bit of gupshup with him, or was it just via phone or emails or?
Who with
Akshay Kumar?
Well, not just phones. It was just phones. I obviously haven't had, our schedule was like super hectic as well, and his is like something else, wasn't it? So I mean, obviously we knew what he wanted, and it's usually for managers as well. Managers talk of this, that, and so it was like that, and so that's how it worked. And then Neha Kakkar jumped on it, and they produced it. The Bollywood guys, Danish, he produced it, showed it to us. We liked it. We said, it's a really good version because we wanted it different from the original.
Yeah, absolutely.
We didn't want it same, There's no point in putting my whole original in the thingy because that just looks like we wanted some kind of creation there where they've done their own little spin on it and made it into a Bollywood style.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so they did that, and I mean. Get a lot of offers from India and stuff like that, and then COVID-19 hit us.
That's it. And today we're here on a phone interview.
And we're talking on phones.
So what I want to say is basically to the viewers out there as well, before you give your final message, I want to say myself, because obviously you can see here the cultural aspect, you can see here the diversity and the multicultural. Herbie is a Sikh. You know what I mean? He's travelled to Pakistan, he's travelled to India, and this is what a community should be like. You should be all together as one. What message would you like to give there, Herbie?
Yeah, you know what it is, honestly, I mean, we've been going to Pakistan for the last 10, 12 years. For us, it's not about politics or anything like that, it's about music. And as you know, the biggest songs of ours, like Billo Hai and Lal Ghagra in Pakistan, are massive.
Absolutely.
They're huge. They've been played everywhere, every party, every function, everywhere, And you know what? I think music can do things for countries what politicians can't, The amount of love and respect we get in Pakistan is absolutely amazing.
Phenomenal,
We've got so many friends there. I've got a whole team out there. I spend probably about 8 months of the year in and out of Pakistan.
Absolutely,
Yeah, and it's not just one or two shows. We do massive tours, like 50,000 people.
Yeah. I've played one of your
folk festival, and but it's not, and the amount of love and respect there is for Sahara, and you know what, and I think it's not about politics or anything like that. It's the love. We're all the same people.
Absolutely.
We've got the same languages. We've got to eat the same food. We're same colour skin. We all one. And our music and stuff like that. I mean, look, I'm British born Sikh who goes to Pakistan and goes to India, who goes to all these countries, and it just brings us all together. But we all got one thing in general, the love of music and the passion of music.
Yeah, there you go, and there you have it. Obviously, I left that scene, so I've got my friends like you, so obviously, hence we're doing this. But
yeah. I remember when you used to wear a baseball cap, but other way around.
Yeah.
And you used to have your two fingers out,
Whoa. Signature more than a signature.
Signature, yeah.
Well, Herbie,
medallion.
Yeah, that's it. The medallion was stick, man. I've still got that. I've got it in a frame. But thank you so much, Herbie Sahara, for coming on my show in the Limelight. I really appreciate you giving me your time.
Very welcome. Thank you, Nas.
No problem.
Listen, much love to you and all the listeners and everybody who's tuned in. Do check us out on our Instagram site, Sahara Music UK, Sahara fan page and all that.
Yeah.
Much love to you guys. Keep it up. Big up to UCTV. You're doing a fantastic job.
Thanks, Herbie.
And, all your cultural programs and everything.
Yeah.
Respect going out to you guys from me, Cully and Gertz.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And there you have it, guys. That was Herbie Sahara. Thank you very much, Herbie. Take care. So that was Herbie Sahara. I hope you guys enjoyed this show in the Limelight. Obviously, we'll be back again next week with another guest. So take care and see you soon.